Well, it's been a while. It's been a week or two after my embarrassing display last week referring to the Pro SC10 II as four-wheel drive for an entire video. I thought I would come back and try and redeem myself. You see a lot of these kits, right? And you're like, when is the guy gonna run them? Well, once I get them opened, which is gonna be done probably next week, get all the battery stuff handled, get everything else handled, then we're gonna get into the running videos. It's that time of year right now in Wisconsin where things are pretty gnarly. There's a lot of mud and a lot of tear up yard kind of stuff, but we're only days away probably from being able to run these. I've got all sorts of different camera setups. Obviously I've got the Insta360, which will work good on the larger scale RCs, X-Max, UDR, the low C, which I'm gonna unbox today too. Obviously GoPros aplenty, wide variety of camera angles. My old friend Brandon will be back in town for a brief amount of time. You may remember him from earlier on the channel. And so we'll have a lot of fun with that. But this is the Traxxas Unlimited Desert Racer. It's not, and it also has, of course, the high output LED kit. Many of you may recognize it as the UDR, and that's why I also have the low C, which seems a little bigger. The low C to unbox too. I don't know what order these are gonna go up in, but the Super Baja Ray 2 as well. This is a larger scale RC, but also it's gonna fall into kind of the scale stuff that people really like. And you're gonna have a lot of higher end stuff inside this kit that you wouldn't normally find. For example, obviously this goes all the way up to 6S batteries, 50 miles an hour on a big kit like this. It's a lot. You've got the extra detail in the driver and the interior. You've got long travel front suspension. It's got all sorts of scale detail, which we're gonna take a look at, and I'll get some close-ups. It's got GTR aluminum shocks, torque biasing center drive, all sorts of other stuff, 4-link solid axle, and everything you need to run this kit, except for, well, just a few things. Now this one is, they're really prominent special, high output off-road light kit. I noticed that they're doing this with a lot of recent kits. I don't know if I care. The light thing is, I guess, cool. I'm gonna have to wait to see. You know, unless you're running it at dusk, I don't know how cool it is. I don't know how, durable it is. We'll find out. Again, this has been out for a minute. You guys might be yelling in the comments like, oh, duh, it's fine. Okay, so just get the standard Traxxas remote. And then we get at this kit, which is absolute beauty. Love this color scheme too. You may notice a central theme in my RCs of orange. I like orange and black. I don't know if I could put this up against here. Now that I'm starting to work through some of these, this thing looks absolutely beautiful. You've got the big tires on the back, little scale stuff like fire extinguishers and the driver. I never really cared about having drivers in there, but I was never a huge scale guy. I know some people are in particular. Let me actually zoom in on this if I can, or at least, let's just, here, we'll just at least do this. The size of this, if I could put it in comparison, everything behind me is pretty large. This is a 10th scale Rustler in comparison. I don't know, or let's just put it on top. This is a 10th scale Rustler. This is the Traxxas UDR. So the size difference obviously is exceptional. This is and I like the Rustler. I think the Rustler is a great basher. I think it's a ton of fun. But this thing, I'm looking forward to some of the close-up stuff here. They even have scale, like body pins, things of that nature to get this looking really awesome. And it looks really well built. Obviously, Traxxas is generally pretty good. Let's see where this body clips, where are the body clips? You've got a lot of travel here. I mean, it's got incredible suspension travel. I can tell this thing's gonna be just a great basher. How durable it is, I don't know. How the body comes off, it looks like it's pretty much stuck right on there. A lot of these pins are just holding it in. Do I have to use an Allen wrench to get the freaking body off? You gotta be kidding me. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. The fit and finish of this thing is absolutely stunning. I got to admit. Let me figure out how to take this all off. It's probably something stupid I'm missing, and I'll be right back. Well, it would appear that there's actually, I guess the battery compartment is easily accessible underneath. So, allegedly you're not going to want to take the body off very often unless you're going to be doing fine tuning and things of that nature, or you're doing an unboxing video on a Saturday afternoon and you haven't prepared anything and you didn't bother to look, and now you're going to have to talk your way through it. So the UDR, it is a desert truck. It's not the first desert truck I've ever had or seen. Pretty sure HPI had one for a while. I might even own it, to be honest with you. I'm trying to think, did HPI have a desert racer? Maybe they didn't. I feel like I've been in and out of the hobby so many times over the years, it's really, it's hard to remember every different variant of every different body of every different thing. But ultimately, the desert racer is a basher. It's not for the track unless you have a large scale track. It's for out there rocking in low cut grass, dirt, rocks, all these kinds of things. So there's 4 screws on the front, and then there's 2 screws on the back here that each come off, and then there's 2 on each side. What are some of the specs? Well, according to Traxxas, it's 27.32 inches long. The front track is 10.29 inches high by 13.57 inches wide, with a total length of just under 28 inches. So it's a big truck, if you know what I mean. The total weight is actually 13.5 pounds. So this thing is, it's not small, and that's without batteries in it. So if you're gonna throw some 6S batteries in there, or 2 3S, I don't know how this is gonna be configured, I suspect it'll be 2 3S, you have a lot of work to do. You're gonna add a lot of extra weight. So this is a big kit, but when you're going 50 miles an hour in a big kit, one thing I will mention is somebody who, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have the Losi 5th scale, which weighs much more. And it's something you don't want to, run into. You definitely don't want this thing running into your legs. So be mindful. The motor is a 2200 kV setup, which is probably about right for this. You lower down that kV, you're gonna get a little more torque off the line. You raise it up, you get a little more high end. This is the standard Valenian VXL 6S. The wheels are dual diameter, 40 millimeter wheels, and the tires come pre-glued. Locked rear differential and a sealed 4-gear front differential. I can tell that there's gonna be definitely, I've just got 2 left here. I'd like to leave this as a shelf queen because it looks so good. I love the anodized wheels. I love all the color, all the various touches and design. But what's gonna be interesting about this is just how much suspension travel you're gonna have. This is gonna be your biggest difference from, rocking short course trucks, or even, as you see up there with the Traxxas Max Slash, or whatever the heck they wanna call it. It's essentially just a big slash. You're gonna have a lot more body, like a lot more suspension travel, a lot more forgiveness. I'll say in terms of fit and finish, this looks good. I don't see any obvious issues, which I thought were a couple issues with the Losi model, but that's anecdotal. I watched a couple, thought I had them all. Oh, the rear. never forget the booty. Never forget the rear. I may cut all this out anyway, but there are some helpful facts. Also, I guess the standard radio system. Now the servo they have in here is just the 2075R metal gear servo. As a general rule, I almost always upgrade the steering servos for just better, you know, performance, stronger turn, quicker turns, better response time. It's got dual bell cranks with ball bearings for steel or for the steering system, and it's got the differential sealed. Yeah, we talked about that already. So now I think it comes off. Yes. Okay. That is not that is not as easy as you would hope / expect. I'm not sure what in the heck is going on up front here. Give me a moment. Do I have to take the freaking bumper off too? In what world? In what world? Wow, working on this thing, I'm gonna tell you right now, is gonna be suboptimal, but you shouldn't have to do a ton of work. It seems like you almost have to take this bumper off to get the whole thing all the way off. Well, I'm not gonna waste a ton of time with that. When you take the body mostly off, you're gonna see not a lot more. You got your drivers, you can dig around in here to find your speed mode on the ESC. You can see, let's see what else. Good gravy. Well, this is a whole different monster. Down below, it's very easy to get at the battery compartment. Let's pop that open. Well, it's very easy, allegedly. Okay, I'm an idiot. It's very easy. This bottom skid plate, there's a skid plate on the bottom that just slides out, and I'll show you in the close-ups. The battery, the way everything connects is nice and tight. This unboxing is gonna require a lot of close-ups because I'm not sure now I'm already not in love with it. Okay, so I know you might say like, bro, it's not really that big a deal. You're right, it isn't that big a deal. The nuisance of having to work on it, you really shouldn't have to be taking it apart. You really shouldn't have to, you know. I mean, this thing is like, you know, you could do the thumbnail. Whoa! But it is beefy, it weighs a lot, it feels well made. My only drawback, I swear there was an HPI Desert Racer like this too. My only gripe about it is getting at stuff, but you shouldn't have to do that too much. Cleaning it, obviously, it's gonna take a little more work, but this thing feels awesome. The suspension travel is insane, the amount of travel it has. So I'm looking forward to having Brandon here to work on this thing. But for now, I'm really looking forward to running it because this looks like it's gonna be a blast to rip around. Do you have the UDR? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about it. If there's any hop-ups I should get before I get going, let me know. Should be running these in a few weeks, and we'll talk to you again real soon.